Hello! Did you know I do requests? And also that there is a Discord that is set up so you can put your request into the Discord and engage with everybody else that's around the channel in any way, shape, or form in the Discord. And then also get guaranteed notifications in the Discord. On top of that, requests in the Discord, plus lots of stuff in the Discord. Kinda. It's a work in progress. This is the 11th time I've had to restart all of this. YouTube really does hate me. But before much ado, I will do the do. So, from a request from Commander Wolf, who is on the Discord. So, from Commander Wolf, this is his request. The Fat Electrician, F-15 Eagle, the most gangster fighter jet of all time. I think I've seen a few shorts by the Fat Electrician, but we'll see. We'll see. And by the way, I already know quite a bit about the F-15 Eagle because I have called them airstrikes in, baby, and they have saved my bacon. There's nothing like, right? There's absolutely nothing like getting ambushed, being heavily outnumbered, and then being able to call in an F-15 to drop some heavy ordnance all over some terrorist evil demons. So that being said, let's jump into it. I'm pretty sure I'll like it. Let's go.
Today we're talking about the most gangster fighter jet of all time, the F-15 Eagle.
Yeah, buddy! Isn't it so? I hope I'm not spoiling the video. I'm guessing he'll just cover like simple snippets of it. Hope I don't spoil the whole video. But isn't it? I find it absolutely just American as fuck. Yes, I swore. YouTube's screwed me over anyway. Who gives a shit anymore? I'm not making anything here. I find it American as fuck that we built the F-15 Eagle to flex on the Soviets. Just for shits and giggles, essentially. Right? I mean, sure, we were acting all scared and worried. We were like, oh my God, they got this new flyy thingy that seems to do better than everything else we ever... Oh my God, we gotta do something. And we gotta do it way better. We gotta stomp them. Anyway, you ready? Let's keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the American muscle car equivalent of a fighter jet. Developed during the Cold War in the early 1970s, it was designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to establish air superiority. And being that this was the 1970s and stealth technology wasn't going to come out for another decade, Uncle Sam had to rely on good old-fashioned horsepower and gunpowder. He figured if you couldn't be sneaky enough to go unnoticed, you just...
Wait a minute. He said stealth didn't come out for another decade. I thought the Danger Dorito and stuff like that came out beforehand. Am I wrong about that? Well, anyway, somebody let me know in the comments down below. I gotta watch the video. Yeah, I'm pretty... Well, anyway, let's go. I'm sorry.
Rely on good old-fashioned horsepower and gunpowder. He figured if you couldn't be sneaky enough to go on war in the early 1970s, it was designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to establish air superiority. And being that this was the 1970s and stealth technology wasn't going to come out for another decade, Uncle Sam had to rely on good old-fashioned horsepower and gunpowder. He figured if you couldn't be sneaky enough to go unnoticed, you just had to be fast enough to go untouched. And that is exactly what they did with the F-15, because it is equipped with two Pratt & Whitney F-100 engines, totaling 19,200 horsepower, which is like 800,000 water chickens. This plane can travel at a max speed of Mach 2.5, which is roughly 1,900 miles an hour. And here's the kicker, it's not just fast, it's quick. And if you don't know the difference, I'll elaborate. You can build up speed slowly and be fast, but being quick is the ability to be fast in a hurry.
And that's basically like... That's kind of what the Soviets did. Right, was that they had made an aircraft that was so absolutely just seemingly great. Trouble was, the damn thing wasn't It really wasn't too heavy, like just unreliable. Man, it was a real mess. And the thing definitely was not quick. It could be kind of fast, sure, if you gave it a straight line and let it go forever and do nothing else.
The F-15 is like a drag car. It is fast the minute you hit the throttle. So fast, in fact, that you can argue that it could be classified as a rocket. Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna
Wait. It could be classified as a rocket? Could be. I don't know. Maybe we should make it into the first rocket fighter of all time. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, I got positive stuff real quick. Give me a sec. Okay, we're back. Let's go.
So fast, in fact, that you can argue that it could be classified as a rocket. Okay, hear me out. I'm gonna nerd out for a second. Generally speaking, aircrafts need to do two things to fly. They need to generate lift and thrust. They need to generate enough lift to counteract gravity, so the physical weight of the aircraft, and they need to generate enough thrust to counteract drag. But here's the thing with the F-15, it has a greater than 1 thrust to weight ratio, meaning that it can generate enough pounds of thrust to offset drag and the weight of the aircraft, meaning it doesn't need to generate lift to sustain flight, which is what a fucking rocket does.
Yep. But technical classification comes with a rocket engine, please.
You're not picking up what I'm putting down. I'm trying to tell you the F-15 doesn't need to generate lift. It can just beat the atmosphere into submission. The F-15 could literally have its wings chopped off in mid-flight and it would still be able to fly. And I can already hear the comment section now.
Facts! Absolute facts. There's been multiple cases of this. If some of the stories are to be believed, quite freaking amazing, honestly. The redundancy they put into that aircraft was just amazing. Then again, they put it up to that. Then again, they made the F-15 to basically fight all the new Russian hardware, right? Because we assumed that all the new Russian hardware was amazing and great and all this stuff, right? And then we would always find out later that that really wasn't the case, and the Soviets were just beating their chests and saying, I'm Russian, so I'm the most powerfulest. And then we'd punch them in the face pretty hard and be like, shut the fuck up.
Buh! The chubby electron guy's so dumb he needs to go back to high school physics class. That's not how any of this works. Buh. No, that's exactly how this works. And guess what? If you don't want to believe me and what's theoretically possible on paper, you don't have to, because this has already happened in real life. In 1983, an F-15 had a mid-air collision, completely lost one wing, and then proceeded to fly 10 more miles and then land safely. Okay, and if that's not enough proof that it's basically a rocket, you can look at how an F-15 takes off. I'll show you the footage. The minute it clears the runway, it goes straight vertical and breaks the sound barrier. It is one of the only planes on the planet that can do that.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, go get him.
Buh! Well, even if it is that fast, common sense dictates that they had to make a bunch of design compromises, and I bet the F-15 has hardly any firepower because of it. Buh! You know what? For once, you're right. That is what common sense would dictate, because that's what every other country does.
I missed that part. Don't know why. Give me a sec. My internal systems were crashing out, I think. Go get him.
Buh! Well, even if it is that fast, common sense dictates that they had to make a bunch of design compromises, and I bet the F-15 has hardly any firepower because of it. Buh! You know what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's like, man, I swear to God, the vast majority of those type of people that comment like that, they never, ever left kindergarten. That's a fact.
But for once, you're right. That is what common sense would dictate, because that's what every other country does. If they want to go really fast, they either have to sacrifice firepower or maneuverability. However, here's what you're not taking into consideration. This is America. We don't make cents. We make dollars, and this thing has more firepower than any other fighter jet in the American fleet. Yeah, more bombs, more missiles, and on the off chance that isn't enough, it's also equipped with an M61 Vulcan 20mm Gatling cannon in case it needs to tell somebody to get fucked at 6,000 rounds per minute.
Dude, I remember, like, so talking about that airstrike, they ended up running dry on bombs, right? And then next thing I know, right, I hear them coming back. Now, at first I assumed, okay, they made their run. I'm dealing with a bunch of other shit at the moment, right? I'm all running around, freaking, and RTO comes. My RTO comes over. He grabs me. He's like, Sarge, we need to get there. I was like, how are you talking about? And then he grabs me. We get down. Right? The freaking the weapons team came right overhead. So, like, okay. So we're there. There's like barely some cover, like right off to this side. RTO's over here. And I'm like peeking over to see if they're still coming. And RTO grabs me. He's like, hey, like, Sarge, we need to get. And I'm like, what is it? And then just, ooh, and I was like, blah, blah. Oh shit. It was a good time. We didn't have any casualties in that one, thankfully. Not on our side. But yeah, they freaking swept right above us. Right? I don't know how far up above they were. Maybe like 200 feet. Maybe. It was like, holy shit. And next thing I know, right, I hear that cannon rip. Turns out they decided to come back and re-engage. I was like, wait, you guys do that kind of thing? I was like, I thought the Warhog was for that. But yeah, I know, it was a good time. I later found those guys at Bath. They had gone to Bath for something, right? And then, like, we always get Airedales at Bath all the time, like where we were. And then we were just, at the chow hall eating, and, some pilots were sitting next to us because they were like, everything was full, right? There was a giant freaking campaign we had for, I want to say 13 weeks-ish. And everything's starting to wind down. We got all the personnel in the chow hall, right? Including the Air Force cats. And so we're sitting next to some pilots. And this is about 2 weeks before the end. So we come back. And random, right? Pilot over here, pilot on the other side. They were like, hey, fellas, can we sit down? It's like, fuck yeah, let's go, guys. And anyway, so I'm finishing telling the story to some of my guys, right? Because we only took so many personnel out for that one. And, everybody wants to know what happened while we were out. Anyway, give a little, telling them everything. And the guy sitting next to me, he's like, is your call sign blah, blah, blah? I was like, yeah. Oh, let me guess. You're going to be in the next briefing with us, aren't you? No shit. He was like, so, how'd you like how low we can get? I was like, oh shit, that's you. It was a good time. I almost got in trouble though, because like I belted it out just like that. I was like, that was you, and good time. Anyway, so yeah, no, because like one of the cooks came over and was like, y'all are being very rowdy. Y'all need to bring it down a little bit. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, dude, it was so great. It was so great. It's a small world after all. Let's continue, by the way. F-15, great. The pilots, awesome. Love my pilots. Yeah, buddy.
So just so we're all on the same page, even though the F-15 is over 50 years old, it is still the fastest and most heavily armed fighter jet in the American fleet. And did I mention that it can also go like 3,000 miles without needing to refuel? Meaning that it's also extremely versatile logistically speaking, because it can fly from America to Europe without needing aerial refueling. And here's the kicker, none of that is the reason it's the most gangster fighter jet of all time. It's the most gangster fighter jet of all time because this thing is the epitome of a pro gamer move.
It is, man. Its base form, right, is already a monster and could slap Cell around like he don't exist no more. But everything else, this thing has so many other... If there's a final form to the F-15, we've yet to find it. It doesn't seem like it has an upper limit.
It is a real-world combat record of 104-0. It is downed 104
Yeah,
enemy
baby.
aircrafts and been shot down 0 times in return. It is the only aircraft to lose a wing, continue flying, and land safely. It's the only aircraft to ever shoot down a satellite while it was still in outer space.
Yes, sir! I almost forgot about that. So, back in the day, they thought, hey, we need a way to be able to shoot down Russian satellites. Basically. Well, okay. They also said there was some practical use to it. Whatever. Debate, finagle. I don't care. Semantic, werantic, whatever. Don't care. Core issue is they literally were like, huh. I wonder, hear me out. Do we now have the capability to shoot something out of freaking space? Basically where it went.
Yeah, America did that during the Cold War. We shot down one of our own spy satellites to send a message to the Soviet Union that we could do it to their satellites too. And my personal favorite, it is the only aircraft to ever score an air-to-air kill using a bomb. Not an air-to-air missile, a bomb.
Damn Skippy! Dude, I love this story. I love this story. Man. And, right? And I got to be one of those unfortunately ungrateful privates because, you know, it was mandatory fun day and we had some guest speaker, right? And I was like, man, I need to go train. I'm trying to go to frickin' selection again. I gotta go and do stuff. Who is this fucking dude? When I found out later who it was, I had to punch myself. Hard.
Yeah, in 1991, during Desert Storm, it actually hit a moving Mi-24 Hind helicopter with a GBU-10 bomb. Yeah, this one. That is a 2,000-pound general-purpose bomb, and it just hit a moving helicopter with it. That is
a freaking gamer move. Before gamers were actually doing gamer moves. And it was well known. The F-15 Eagle literally rocketed all of us to the future before we even knew it was happening.
is absolutely unheard of. In conclusion, while the F-15 is no longer the best fighter jet on the planet because it's been replaced by the F-22 Raptor, I feel pretty confident in saying that it will go down in history as the greatest fighter jet of all time. And that history is still being written because America is coming out with another F-15, the F-15EX Eagle II.
And we got it now, baby. And it is a beast. It is such a monster. I love it. It is the air truck from freaking Armageddon for anybody in its way. I freaking love it.
Gonna have to be its own video some other time. Thanks for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Man, I wish I had this guy's luck. I was on YouTube a decade plus before him, but look where he's at. Holy shit. I can't. Hey man, full freaking respect. Unfortunately, that's never going to be a thing for me. Oh, is that it? Oh, I thought he had like little ending things or whatever. Okay, well there we go. Commander Wolf. The Fat Electrician. The F-15 Eagle, the most gangster fighter jet of all time. Of course I liked it. It's a Fat Electrician. Anyway. What do y'all think? What did y'all think? Me? I had a great time. I had a great time. Plus, I got to reminisce a little bit. Right? I remember, like I said earlier, I screwed up sometimes in my career when I was in the military, and that mandatory fun day was one of them. Right? Yes, in the Army, in the military, they have such things called mandatory fun day. It's supposed to build a spirit de corps, increase camaraderie, and strengthen morale, or some dumb bullshit like that excuse that an officer came up with. But on that mandatory fun day, right, where I was much younger, impatient, and I was like, I don't want to be here. I got to get to the gym, and then I got to go run up that damn mountain behind the base. The guest speaker? Well, he knew all about that freaking gamer move. And I lost out because I was too busy being like, oh, okay, whatever. In my freaking head. Younger men, if you're in the military right now, or you get into it, treat all of those like they're precious. Right? If you are true and, green to the core, right? If you get those opportunities, don't treat them like I did. That being said, what y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. Alright, you know what time it is. Be good, be safe, make good life for yourselves. I'll see you on the next one. I'm Badger7, actual formerly known as Veteran, Blast Cat Badger, out!